The Fuling Mausoleum is located in the eastern suburbs of Shenyang City in the Liaoning Province, northeastern China. This mausoleum represents an extensive architectural complex with diverse structures nestled within lush hillsides. It rests in the significant Tangelin Park, bordering the Han River in the south and the north's ascending Tianzu Mountain. The Fuling Mausoleum serves as a tomb of Nurhaci and his Empress Xiaocigao. Nurhaci, also known as the founder of the later Jin Dynasty, was initially a Jurchen chieftain who rose to prominence in the late 16th century in Manchuria. Although Nurhaci was never officially acknowledged as an emperor, he led to China's then-ruling dynasty, the Ming Dynasty's northeastern Liaodong province, in 1618. Even after his death, this paved the way for his son, Huang Taiji, to eventually establish the Qing Dynasty, the last imperial government to rule China. He was later honored with the title of emperor, and, accurate to custom, he was buried in this lavish imperial mausoleum complex. The Fuling Tomb, Yongling Tomb, and the Zhaoling Tomb make up the Cultural Heritage Site, the three imperial tombs of the Qing Dynasty. The collective heritage site was itself an expansion project of the UNESCO Heritage Site, Imperial Tombs of the Ming and Qing Dynasties. Qing Fuling Mausoleum's architectural pattern forms a low front and high back due to the mountainous terrain. The quiet complex houses a magnificent pine forest. It is a park and one of the most famous attractions of Xinjiang. The pine trees inside the complex symbolize immortality, steadiness, and resilience, and honor civil and military officials' sacrifice. They are named differently depending on their location in the complex area. The structures in the complex are arranged in two different locations. The main buildings sit on the top of the Tianzu Mountain. However, the entrance gate, called Jiahongmen, and the pavilion are located on the bottom's flat ground. A long stone-paved and slightly inclined staircase, known as Sacred Way, runs from the primary building's entrance. At the end of the Sacred Way, a colossal stairway, known as 108 steps, leads to the upper section of the complex. As suggested by its name, the stairway is made of 108 steps and is about 40 meters long and 7 meters wide. The 108 steps on the topography symbolize the 36 heavenly gangs and the 72 earthly evil spirits. It is a significant cultural symbol in the Chinese tradition, showing the link between evil and the divine. On the way up to the primary complex, there is a significant monument called Shenggong that means Sacred Merit Monument. The monument is located in the middle of a stone bridge. It is a four-gate building with double eaves, housing a stele in its interior. This stele, dedicated to several emperors, is present in most Chinese tombs with an animal holding it on the back. The monument was built in the 27th year of Emperor Kongxi in 1688 and had inscriptions written by the emperor in both Chinese and Manchu script. The inscriptions on its surface tell the great lifespan and achievements of Nurhaci. Behind the Steely Building is the mausoleum's main body, the Qing, also called Square City. This part of the complex symbolizes the soul of the complex and is also the most characteristic of the Qing Dynasty's architectural style. The Square City is aptly named according to its appearance, since it is a small fortress in a square shape. It houses the most important buildings in the complex and is characterized by the unique layout and sturdy look. The walls surrounding the portion have a perimeter of about 370 meters and a height of 5 meters, and were built to defend from invaders and wild animals. The roofs of the Square City buildings are covered with yellow glazed tiles with vibrant red pillars and represent the leading sites for ritual ceremonies conducted by the imperial family during the entire Qing Dynasty. The Fuling Mausoleum has carried a very eclectic history and architectural significance for more than 3 centuries. In 1626, when the great Emperor Nurhaci died due to battle wounds, he was not buried immediately because no suitable burial place was found. In 1629, 3 years after his death, the tomb was chosen to be built in Shenggong City's northeastern suburbs. In the same year, the tomb of Nurhaci's Empress Xiaocigao was also moved to the site from Yanglushan in Tokyo. Only after the burial was complete, the buildings were erected in the complex in the following years, and it was initially called Shehan Mausoleum or Taizu Mausoleum. The mausoleum's construction was only completed in 1651, during the 8th year of Shunzi's reign, and was further extended during the Kangxi and Qianlong reigns. The most important and earliest building of the entire mausoleum is the Fuling Hall that sits on the south side of the Square City. Also known as the Shang Temple, this particular hall served as the Qing Dynasty's festivals and ceremonies' principal place. The Fuling Hall showcases significant ornamental characteristics. It consists of a single eave and possesses the Xishan style of design, the ancient architectural style that flourished in Old Beijing. As the essential core building in the complex, Longyin Temple is located on a tall and spacious white marble platform to give it a striking look with height. The name Longyin refers to the profound merits of the ancestors. It was built to emphasize the dignity and sacredness of the imperial power and symbolize peace and the world ruled with filial piety. The hall is where the tablets of Nurhaci and his empress are enshrined, and it is also the principal place for holding sacrificial ceremonies to please the gods. Its interiors are intended to contain the emperor and empress objects used in their daily life, such as clothes, utensils, and other materials. On each part of the compound, corner towers or turrets are present. Each corner tower resembles the style of one of the halls inside the compound and consists of a double-eave structure. In front of the Longyin Temple, two identical halls rest on the east and west sides and are named East-West Palaces. These palaces were used as a temporary extension to the Longyin Hall and were used to keep the sacrifice animals and worship materials. They had also temporarily enshrined the two tablets of Nurhaci and Empress Xiaocigao when the Longyin Hall was maintained and repaired. A cave gate is present on the back of the Longyin Hall, atop which the Ming Pavilion sits. In most of the Qing Dynasty's heritage, there is usually a building of this type, named after the Ming Dynasty. The gate building is very similar to the Stele building and consists of double eaves and Xishan-style architecture. To the north of the square city, a small portion shaped like a crescent moon is present, known as Crescent City. The mound of earth at the very middle is known as Baochang. It is a significant feature of Qing Dynasty mausoleums, as the coffins and ashes of Nurhaci and Yihe Nala are buried below the mound. The tomb complex and its numerous buildings combine traditions inherited from previous dynasties and Manchu civilization's new features. The mausoleums are outstanding testimony to a cultural and architectural tradition that dominated ancient China for over 500 years.